Good morning, folks. Welcome back to Dad's shop. One thing that you guys probably didn't know about my dad is he is an Iron Man. Not that kind of Iron Man. He, over the years, has gotten into, well, he got into collecting a little bit of everything, but one of the many things that he's got into collecting is antique irons. And today we got a bunch of them out here. We're going to show some of the different ones that he has here, and then we are gonna try to maybe get this one going. This is a Coleman instant light gas iron for ironing your clothes. So yeah, I think we're gonna, maybe I'll move all of them out of the way and we'll show them one at a time here, and then we'll get this one and we'll see if we can make this one work. We've never had any of these gas irons lit before.
I've never ironed anything, I don't think.
Oh, ironic.
I feel like I ironed something. Mom made me iron a shirt one time or something, but...
You didn't use a gas one though, did you?
No.
Okay.
The most basic one we've got here. Oh, there's pieces of walnut shell inside of that. Huh. That's interesting. Most basic one we got here. This one doesn't even have any writing on it anywhere. And this particular one doesn't have the top half, but it would have had a handle that hooked on there. And you would just set this on your wood stove, get it hot, and then use it to iron your clothes. We've got another one here that has, says patent May 22nd, 1900, and it has the asbestos sat iron. That's the most common ones you'll find of these old cast iron irons, is asbestos sat iron. And I think Asbestos was just the brand. That was their brand name. But this piece that picks it up has insulation on the inside of it that probably is asbestos insulation, most likely. But it just sits right down on there, and then you click it over, and the little spring-loaded pins on the inside of there go right in the holes in the side of the iron, and then you can pick it up. So you can set it on top of your wood stove, pick it up, the handle's cool, and the iron is hot for ironing your clothes.
And you'd have more than one of those sat irons on your stove. That way you could clamp that on a hot one and leave the other one to heat up.
Yeah, if you had enough money to afford that, you could have more than one of them.
Yeah.
This one we were looking at, he's had this for ages, but it's got a chimney on the front of it, and it's got dampers on the back of it that you can have one hole open, two holes open, or both of them closed off. I don't know if I can get the lid to pop off without getting a screwdriver out again. No, I can reach it here. Leo, stay down. Leo's trying to help out here. The top pops off of there, and then I think it was supposed to have coal in it, and when you open and close those dampers, this little plate in here lets the air go underneath, so it comes out all the way in the front or underneath there. So you could have this full of coal that was burning, and then you could control your airflow to control the amount of heat, so that you didn't have to keep going back over to the wood stove, trading it out with another one. It literally had its own wood fire inside of it, or its own coal fire inside of it.
Yep.
So that's pretty neat. And it doesn't have, I was looking and I don't see anything that's got any marking or any names anywhere on it. There's a 4 on that corner, but there's no other markings or names anywhere on it. So if anybody knows who the manufacturer was of this, leave it down in the comments. It would be kind of neat to know who it was manufactured by. here we got a couple of electric irons that he's got. This one's in pretty rough shape, but he grabbed it out of the bathroom to, he didn't do a very good job. He said there was spider nests in there. He was cleaning it up, but he didn't get them all out of there apparently. Don't want to destroy their home.
No.
This has a patent date on it, but no name. But it does have a patent date stamped in it. But had a spring-loaded trivet to keep your iron up while it was heating up, and when you had to set it down in between pieces of clothing. This one does have a tag on it. I don't know if I can read it or not. R-O something, R-O-C-H-E-S, Royal Roaches. I'm gonna get a piece of steel wool and clean that up a little bit, see if I can read it. I doubt that the brand of it is Royal Roaches. That doesn't seem like it would make much sense, but Royal Rochester, R-O-C-H-E-S-T-E-R. So Royal Rochester. That makes more sense than Royal Roaches.
Might be Rochester, New York then, and it's called the Royal.
The rest of the tag. Rochester Stamping Company, Rochester, New York. Patented 3-16, 110 volts, and $53 amps. So that's kind of neat.
That's my daily user there.
Yeah, it looks like you use it a lot. Poor old thing is just crusty and flaking off, but still pretty neat. This one, another electric one, this is a Hot Point Model R Edison Electric Appliance Company. Another old electric one. It's got kind of a neat thumb rest. I'll try to get around here so that you can see how that thumb rest is. So right there, right where your thumb naturally wants to go, there's a little wooden button on there for a thumb rest. That's kind of neat. And then this one, GE automatic iron. Dad said that he actually got this box with one of the Coleman irons that he bought, and then somewhere else later on found this iron, but this also is a General Electric iron, and it's got settings on it for...
It's the one that should be in that box.
Yeah, it is. It's a General... I don't know if it's the exact model, but...
Well, it says on the other side it has the dials for the fabrics, and on the other end.
Sure does, yeah, and it looks like it, yeah. Dial the fabric ironing. Yeah, rayon, silk, wool, cotton, and linen.
So that I might not be remembering that just right.
So maybe these two did come together.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's hard to say.
It's that iron that was in that box, apparently.
But it's in, you know what, it's in good shape. I think I might be brave enough to plug this in and see if it heats up. Maybe I'll plug it into a drop cord and then plug the drop cord into the wall and see if this thing heats up. I don't know how old this is, but I would guess by looking at that, probably the 50s by the looks of the box. I'm gonna get a drop cord and we'll plug this thing in and see if it blows up. Okay, I turned the camera around here. I sat this on the corner of the welding table off of my rubber mat. So I'm gonna plug this into the drop cord here. The end is a little crusty, but the fabric cord actually is in really good shape. It's got one little frayed spot right there. But anytime I plug in something old like this, my go-to move is to plug it into a drop cord and then plug the drop cord into the wall. That way I'm not touching it when I plug it in. So let's see if we blow a breaker when we plug this in. Well, that was anticlimactic. I don't know if it did anything at all. Let's see here. There's a little light here on the side, and it is not lighting up. And it's not lighting up even when I change the settings on it. But I smell heat. Oh yeah, it's heating up.
I think the light comes on when it gets hot.
Oh, the light comes on when it's up to temperature. This one is a little newer, more sleek looking design. It's got part of a sticker on the side here, but I can't find a manufacturer's name anywhere on it. But on the top, it says patent number 2065492, December, but I can't read the date, 1930 maybe it looks like. Use only approved fuel, read instructions before using. I don't have the instructions, so I can't use this one. I'll set this off to the side. Maybe I'll unplug the electric one too. The light never came on it, but it is hot.
I'll do it.
Alright. Alright, let's see. Next we got... Oh geez, Dad went and found another one. Look at this crusty old thing. That wasn't even sitting here a few minutes ago. Dad just keeps dragging more and more of them out.
There's another one too. Another gas one. I assume it's Coleman. It looks like a Coleman.
Domestic electric iron. Chicago Flexible Shaft Company, Chicago, USA.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That old girl sat somewhere for a long time. That handle's about rotted through. Now let's line up some of these over here. These are all maybe this one isn't. Dad went and found this one somewhere too.
It's so rusty I didn't see any name on it.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a Coleman or not. I don't see a name on it anywhere either, but
It's that style anyway.
yeah, it's definitely looks similar to the Coleman ones. The cap doesn't say anything either. Sometimes names on the cap, but I don't see any writing on the cap on it either. So that may be a Coleman, it may not. It doesn't have a Coleman looking generator on it. So I don't know. Don't know what brand that one is, but I do know that all four of these are Coleman. This one, somebody has spray painted the entire thing black, but it's all there. It's got the generator in it with the tip cleaner. So it would definitely be a good parts lantern, and it might, actually, if you wanted to, it might clean up good, because that black paint's chipping off there, and underneath it you can see the old blue paint, just like this one here.
Maybe I'll strip that down while we got it
Yeah,
out.
it would maybe clean up pretty nice. I think this one I'm going to try to get going. It's all there. The tip cleaner moves. The tank looks pretty good on it. Coleman Model 4 Instant Light. It's got a patent number, but no date. I don't know. I would imagine that these are probably from the 30s. This one looks a little more modern, like maybe even up into the 50s or 60s, I suppose you could still buy them.
I think they'd be earlier than that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd be 20s, 30s. Actually, when we were at the Amish store a couple weeks ago, they've got brand new gas irons there, and I took a picture of it, so I'll put that picture in the video too. But at the Amish store, you can still buy a brand new gasoline iron up there. And this one is pretty similar to the blue one, but this is the only one I've seen with that green color. So that's kind of neat. It's in rough shape. Poor old tags falling off of it.
The tank's different than the rest of them.
Yeah. This one's a number 5 instead of a number 4, so this one's obviously better.
Yeah.
Because it's one better, so.
One more, yeah.
And this one is missing its generator. I was thinking about trying to get this one going, but it's missing the generator. So I think our best candidate for one to try to get going is this one. And I think before I do that, I'm going to take my rubber mat back off the table so that if I do get it going and starts heating up, I don't melt my mat.
Hey, there's a good idea.
Okay, got my rubber mat out of the way. I decided before I try to light this up, I'm going to see if it'll come apart so we can look inside of it. Oh, well, that was easy. You'd think after being blazing hot over and over again that those would be seized in there, but no, both turned nice and easy. Never had one of the Coleman ones apart, so we'll look and see what's in there. Why that screw won't come out of there easier than that, but there we go. So that's what the burner looks like inside of it. That's interesting. Whole bunch of little slots down through there. And then there's slots on the top side right below where the generator runs in there. So it keeps the generator hot that way to vaporize the fuel. That part just lifts off of there. And then you got your bottom. So that one, if we want to clean that other one up, it'd be much easier to clean up if you just pop it apart and take that out of there. Knock a little bit of the dust out of here. I kind of like the smell of stuff that's been sitting for a long time when you fire it up the first time and it burns off the dust. Like when I plugged in that electric iron earlier, I was turning the knob to see if it did anything, and before I even realized it was heating up, I could smell the heat of it.
Yep.
This has got a number in there. Looks like 608-401. Don't know for sure what that actually means, but they've got a slot at one end and a peg at the other end, so you can't put it backwards. Because if you could, I probably would. That drops right down on there. There's threads in the front of it, but there was nothing threaded in there, and there's a hole that matches up in here with where those threads are, but there's nothing in it. I wonder if it is supposed to have a little peg in there that just lines up with this hole to align everything. Now I gotta thread that screw back all the way in there that I forced out of there. I don't know why that one's gotta be so difficult. That one just drops in there. There we go. Get my screw line back up here. And I think before I put fuel in there, we'll put a little bit of air pressure in the tank just like I do with the lanterns and see if it passes any air and see if the tip cleaner does anything when I turn the tip cleaner. I really don't know why, when we have so many of these, we've waited so long to try to see if one of them works.
We haven't had time.
Well, Dad was saying earlier that he's got all these irons and he never irons any clothes, and I thought, that's ironic.
Irony.
Yeah, the irony of
There
it.
we go, yeah.
You guys, you can't make a video about irons and not throw in an irony joke somewhere in there. Yeah, I'll bet that did used to have a post there because that's kind of crooked. But the screws go straight down all the way into the bottom, so it can't. There we go, it popped over a little bit. That looks nicer anyway. It really can't be very far off. The screws go all the way through the whole thing and clear down into the iron base. Alright, I'm going to get the air hose here and put a little air in it. We've got a pump for our old lanterns, but I'm just going to use our blowgun with the air regulator on it. I got it set to 25 psi. I assume these probably are made to run the same pressure as the lanterns, and they run, I think it says 2 to 3 bar, which is like 30 to 45 psi that they can run in them. Well, the check valve doesn't hold, but that's not a real big deal. All right, I'll get it up close to the camera here. We'll see if we can hear any air when we crack the valve. I can hear it. And the tip cleaner stopped the air. Comes back when you rotate it back. So that's good news. Put a little bit of WD-40 on the check valve. That might be all it needs to get that to hold. It does move. I can hear it rattling around in there. So it's just not sealing up. Alright, let's put a little bit of fuel in this thing. I'm not going to put very much in there because we're going to end up probably dumping back out whatever we don't use.
I don't know what you did with the fire. It is.
He's got the can that came with it. Fuel measuring can for Coleman Instant Light Iron. This handy little can measures the exact amount of fuel for one filling. Fill measure even with small hole near top. So you fill it up to the hole on there, and then that completely fills your iron. But this thing's kind of dirty and rusty inside, so I'm just going to use our clean funnel and put a tiny little bit of fuel in here. Of course, you got a brand new clear full gallon fuel here for the thing that I'm trying to pour 2 ounces of fuel in. I would think that should be
Sufficient.
more than enough fuel. There we go. I don't see fuel running out of it, so that's a good sign. I really wish I would have brought my infrared thermometer out here so we could tell what kind of temperature this actually gets up to. Yeah, it's still leaking the pressure back out, but I can quickly close the valve. Should have plenty of pressure in there. If it was something that I was going to use more than one time in my life, I might worry about trying to get the check valve to hold, but literally just trying this for the sake of trying it.
Yeah, I've never lit one.
I don't know why. Like I just said earlier, I can't believe we've had this many of them for this long and never tried getting one of them going before. Well, it's got a hole on this side to put a match in there. I'm gonna see if I can get the lighter. Yeah, it's big enough to fit a lighter in there. I'm gonna stick this lighter down in there and light it and give it a... Whoa! Well, it's leaking fuel in there already.
It's burning. I can see it burning.
Yeah.
It's lit.
No, well the valve's open. That's why it's leaking fuel in there.
Duh.
So that's not how you're supposed to do that, I'm sure, but it worked.
I can see it burning in there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, it ain't cool.
No, it's probably hot.
Yeah.
Well, it's smoking.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's burning super efficiently here, but it is burning. I'm going to turn the tip cleaner and see what that does. There, it sounds like it's burning a little more now. I'm sure that's totally normal. I'm sure it's probably supposed to have flames clear up around where your hand would be.
Just a day of ironing.
Okay.
Asbestos glove.
There, it's burning a little bit better now.
It's burning a lot better. It's cleaner.
The bottom's still cool enough to put my hand on, so it's burning and it's starting to heat up. The problem is you really can't see down in there well. I'll get it up here and try to get where the camera can see in there, but you really can't see in there very well. But it's burning.
Yeah, I can't see the fire anymore.
It's burning a nice blue flame. I wish that I could get the camera in there better. Is the table getting warm where it was sitting? No. Well, the bottom's starting to heat up, but obviously it's not very hot yet. I can still hold it right in my hand. Let's try turning the tip cleaner again and see what that does now that it's... Oh, that put it out.
Well, that was the wrong thing to do, man.
Let's turn it back now.
Did you open up the valve on it?
Yeah, the valve's all the way open. Okay, we'll give it a pause the camera and give it a few more minutes. It's crackling and popping there.
It's smoking.
I set it up on this trivet from that electric one so it's not sitting. This welding table is 1/4 inch thick steel, so it would be working like a heat sink, just pulling all the heat out of there. So we set it up on that trivet. We'll give it a few more minutes and see if it gets up to temperature good. Okay, I'm going to put a little more pressure in it. It's kind of puffing, and I wonder if it's not got enough pressure. So I'm going to go from 25 to 35 psi here. Well, I don't know that that made very much difference. The flame, little bit of flame that I can see in there is burning nice.
Yeah.
Well, I shut it off, and I'm going to pull it back apart real quick and
good and hot now.
Light it so that we can actually see the flame. I want to see how it's burning. Yeah, now that it's too hot to touch everything, let's pull it apart and...
Could be half plugged up in there even.
I don't know why it would be.
Yeah, me neither.
Have you not been taking care of it like you should?
Oh yeah. I don't know how to take care of it. I lost the instructions.
Well, those screws are probably
Warm.
a little heated up now. That's the one that doesn't want to come out good.
I'll just leave it in there.
No, I'm too stubborn for that.
Okay.
There we go. All right. Now, I hope that this doesn't flare up when it lights when I'm holding on to the handle here.
Want me to hold it so you don't get burnt?
Probably would be smart to just grab one of our welding gloves. Because it did kind of flare up when it first lit, but that also could be because I had the gas valve open and it was leaking fuel in there before I lit it. So maybe it wouldn't normally flare up if you light it correctly. All right. Here, you're gonna have to light the lighter and stick it in there, and I'll open the gas. Yeah, I think I see why
Most of the heat's going
it's
up.
not heating up. There's not very much fire coming out the bottom.
Run that over the wire wheel there, and if you can.
Oh, geez. Get the lighter back under there. I killed it. Well, that's a little better, but it's still only got fire coming out a little bit there. So let's shut that back off and see what we can do about that. Well, there's a little pipe plug in the back of there, and it doesn't seem like it wants to come out. So I just took the blowgun to it and blew it out really good. I'll put the glove back on and we'll try lighting it back up again now and see what it does. Oh, that's better. That's not perfect, but that's a lot better than it was, so. That ought to heat it up better. Now you can see the flame too. And obviously the flame's not going to be perfect when it's out of there because it's designed to have the draft coming up around through there, but it is burning way better than it was. Oh, shut it off and put it back together and light it up one more time. This would be super convenient if you had to iron your clothes and got to go through this every single time you wanted to iron your clothes.
Well, you only have to do it once every 100 years. Iron clothes or start to iron, either one.
Everything's hot now. Why is that? Oh, that's where it's supposed to go. That's why it keeps falling down there like that. That's the spot where it's supposed to be. Well, no matter what I do, that's an awkward spot to try to reach. I mean, I could turn the iron, but...
Or use a screwdriver.
Looks like it's not lining up perfect. Let's see if this one starts in first. Gets it aligned a little better. You'd be surprised, there is a lot of heat radiating off of this thing.
Yeah.
One more reason that it's amazing any house from before 1950 is still standing.
Everything is made out of asbestos then.
It couldn't burn.
Yeah.
Leo, no. Leo's trying to eat one of Dad's shoes over there.
Hey.
All right, here we go. Let's get the lighter back in there and we'll fire this up again. There we go. Well, you really can't see the flame at all. Once it's in there, you can't see it. The only flame you can see in there good is the little burner that keeps your generator hot. Okay, it's been burning for, I don't know, about 5 minutes now. And it's hot. Like, I wouldn't want to touch it any longer than that, that's for sure. So I don't know what temperature for sure it's supposed to get to.
Have you got it set on rayon or cotton or what?
Yeah, it's set on open the knob all the way.
Yeah.
But I went back and got the old brown towel wet. So we'll see if it'll hiss when I put it on the towel here. Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
You can press the corners of the old brown towel here. I'm sure you're supposed to do your ironing on a cold steel tabletop. Look at that, isn't that pretty?
Yeah.
Well, it definitely got warm enough. I hope the camera picked it up, but it did sizzle when I put it down on there.
Still smoking.
Yeah. I don't know how long it takes to quit.
The rag was still smoking.
Oh, well, the iron's still smoking too. I don't know how long it takes to quit burning off, but Dad did clean it up with WD-40, so it's probably burning the WD-40 off of there. Anyhow, just something kind of neat. We've had these around here forever, never tried lighting one up before, so we figured we'd give it a shot. It's sitting there burning nice and it hisses, sounds like a
Yep.
lantern burning. Dad was, when he was really struggling when we first got these out, calling them lanterns over and over again. I don't know what the deal was with that, but
I get confused.
it does sound like a Coleman lantern burning. And it probably would be an improvement if you had been using
That old coal burner. Be careful that it don't fall apart on you.
Yeah. If you had been using something like this one that you had to fill up with coal and then try to make sure you don't have coal soot getting on your clothes, or one like this that you had to keep changing it out with a different one on top of the wood stove, this probably would be a pretty significant improvement and make your chore a lot easier to do. So, well, thanks for watching, folks. I know this is a different video than normal, but something kind of fun to do, and there's not very many videos on the old Coleman irons on YouTube, so I thought it'd be a fun one to put up here. So thanks for watching. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, and come on back next week. We'll have a video something here for you to watch.